In today's video, I want to talk about why it's actually very destructive to think bad of yourself and give you some examples how people actually, throughout the days, throughout the weeks and months, actually years even, think of themselves and how it's going to portray in the very end in the outside world. So, a lot of people are mostly saying stuff like they cannot do something, they cannot endure something anymore, they cannot take it anymore. They might be too stupid. They might not able to understand what you're actually saying because it's outside of their comprehension. They might just not know the information and cannot talk with the group they are in, whatever the reason is. Saying that all the time, day after day, or maybe not day after day, but every now and then, which gets to, in the end, to every day, day after day. Well, what kind of emotion does it trigger in those people? What does it do to you when you say those things? You feel defeated, right? You feel like you're too dumb, maybe. You lose hope. You feel like you're trapped. You feel like someone is taking the ground beneath your feet, and you're falling into darkness. Whatever it is, for every person it might feel different. But saying those things, not just saying, but also thinking, thinking is also energy. Because after all, everything is energy. And if you think bad of yourself, what do you think your own body is, how your own body is responding to that, how your own body is doing? Knowing that the very soul inside the body is not actually satisfied with the outcome in the outside world, or even with the body, because you are after all the body and the soul, and together you are the perfection. But that system doesn't want you to think that way for a very reason. And if you watch my videos, you actually understand what I'm meaning by that. You should always be worried about death, always worry about money, always worry about something else, what might happen, which probably will never happen, and you should not think that much. Because someone who is open-minded and thinks outside the box is a threat to the entire system. So one person alone can take out this entire system easily. And because it can take out that system so easily, one single person, it needs this whole construct of lies, of propaganda, of governments, of politicians, the greatest whores on the planet. They do everything for money, okay? And drinks. Yeah. So how does it portray in the outside world when people say those things all the time? Well, people get over time depressed. Depression is a choice because you choose to think all the time those things. And when something happens, you choose to say those things again all the time. I'm just saying you, the general you, not you watching in particular. Or let's just say one. One does feel bad after that, okay? Because that person decided to choose. That person decided to say those things all the time. Something happens, they decide to say it again. And the cycle repeats. And they feel this negativity. And when there's too much negativity inside, the body at one point cannot handle that kind of energy. People get depressed. Depression takes years. So if a girl, for example, at the age of 14 is depressed, the process of depression probably took over 5 years. And for the person, that girl, to leave depression, she would need actually people in her environment to understand it from an energetic point, because those doctors usually, they will never be able to help them. They will just masquerade the problem, make the person just work, be productive in society, and they might feel great and blah blah blah, but at one point those pills might not work anymore. And so those people actually become a patient for life. Big Pharma says thank you. If a person now starts to say I'm great, I'm powerful, I'm sexy, and I know it, okay? I can do it. With time, dedication, effort, skill set, and mindset, I can accomplish everything in this universe. I love myself. I'm proud of myself, the way I'm thinking and acting, always trying to become a better version of myself, you know? And saying those things again and again and again, watching into the mirror, I love myself. I am proud of myself. I deserve a lot of money. I deserve to be respected by millions of people. Maybe actually billions, the entire planet. I deserve it. I deserve to be treated like a king, or if you're a woman, like a queen. And I don't mean by having you servants and everything. A true king is actually someone who helps his people to rise up. So actually the true power of a king, of a true king, is the power of the people. The people who are awakened, the people who know everything, the people who trust their king because their king helped them get up. But there were a lot of false kings, you know, in human history. There were some, of course, that were great, but the majority is just trash. Was trash and is trash today too. Why do people not say good things about themselves? School system, work, and governments dictate how you think or how one thinks. Again, I'm on the you, even though I mean it in a general way, because you can say you for general and one to speak about more people, you know. The school system dictates when you can get up, when you can leave the room, if you're allowed to go to the toilet, you know, the restroom, if you're allowed to say something or not. So there already young children learn who has the saying. And it's not them, and it's not their parents. Because they get a grade from their teacher, not their parents. The parents have actually nothing to say. Just look how the image changes. My mom, my dad, they know everything. They're the greatest. They're so strong. They know everything. And if you dare to say something bad about the parent, what are you saying? My parents are super. You know? 6 years later, they realize that the parents know nothing or close to nothing. In some cases, they know nothing. And the child starts to lose respect because what do they know? They can't even handle a phone, for example, okay? And the state has more and more control over them. The state dictates it's not good to think and say loud good about yourself, you know? Because you're an egoistic person. You might be even a narcissistic person. And no one wants to be looked at badly, you know? Everyone wants to be great. Everyone wants to be the same. And everyone wants to be loved and nurtured. And yeah, I'm just a good citizen. I have my good grades. So I can later go to university. And after that, I can go and have my own house. And later, yeah, I'm gonna marry and have children. And I'm making sure that the children will never think differently and go the same path. Because I'm a good citizen, you know? The cycle continues and continues over the centuries until someone has enough courage to break out, and until a soul appears on the planet who says, no, enough, fuck you. Okay? It doesn't need to be in a negative way to break out and everything. You can still try. One can still try to maintain the environment, you know, and help the people to widen the horizon. It's usually a very time consuming thing to do, also energy wise, because, well, how many adults are able to change their viewpoint about life? Not many. Mark Twain already said it, you know? It's easier to manipulate someone than to persuade them that they had been manipulated. So it takes enormous amount of energy to break through an illusion, because there's a wall, there's a bubble, you know, that people live in. Like here, I have my cup, And there would be a bubble around it. And I'm saying, wake up and do something and blah, blah, blah. And I'm trying to attack from all angles, you know? And it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Because it's a set perception of the world. It's a set perception of energy. This bubble only breaks when people have, for example, unfortunately, an accident, or someone dies in their family, or a friend. Suddenly they realize they are mortal again. Suddenly this whole perception breaks. And that's when you can get the ideas inside. And then wait until something grows, you know, like a tree. Because the bubble will close. The bubble might be open for a few weeks after that happened, that event. And then it's closed again. And you also see how people behave, you know. I've always seen, you know, whenever I left school, whenever I went to the city and whatever, I always watched the people, and I always watched how they walk and where they look and how long they were able to look me into the eye. Only one person truly was able to look me into the eye longer than 30 seconds. And I was actually wondering who the fuck is that person, you know, because that was already a very strange person. And I watched the girls, you know, at the train station a lot. And I thought, okay, psychopathic somehow, you know. So actually, I can say no one was able to look me into the eye, a stranger. No one. In 15 years and longer, no one. They just look you quickly, and then mostly people look at the ground. Mostly people shake their hands very fast, you know, when they walk. They walk tiny steps because they are told that they are tiny and not important in the world, you know. And if you think, if one thinks they're not important, they will behave as if they are not important. They will not walk chest up, you know, tits out like a queen or a king. Slow walking with the hands almost never shaken, you know. Long steps, slow steps, scanning the environment. You don't see people doing that. The only time people scan their environment is when they had been under a background of martial arts or police military. Then they scan, you know, the environment. Hence the reason why if a police officer is asked, you know, by witnesses what happened, they will more believe, for example, a police officer who has also seen it, or a military person. Never a normal person. Just briefly on the side. You should always think about yourself in a positive way, because thinking that you can do it, you can accomplish something, you actually reprogram yourself to think positive. That you always accept the positive, even if it doesn't end up positive, you still know after that it will be positive in the end. And you believe in yourself. And believing in yourself, you know, creates an enormous amount of energy, because, you know, you can change the environment. You can change it with your hands, you know. If you don't know how to drill something into a wall, you type it, you know, you type something and then you look videos how you can do it. And then you just drill it later on. You paint something because you researched it. You do something. You want to create a company. Well, you get working, you know, get the information. If you want to be a CEO of a company, if you want to have your own dance studio, get things done. This is the age of information. There is no excuse to not use that anymore. This is not used for sending penis pictures and some nonsense crap, you know, on messenger apps, you know, okay? Because a lot of people are just using it for, hey, are you coming? Yeah, okay, here, penis picture. And that's it. No one is using the phone and actually researching, how can I actually create a company? What are the necessary steps to create a company? How can I actually drill a wall in a hole into a wall without destroying it? What kind of wall do I actually have? How can I determine what kind of material the wall has? Okay, maggots.
Shut up,
Water
Quincy.
quality. And so on and so on.
Time to change water, slave.
People don't do that because people never got taught how to do it, how to think on their own. People were taught to simply follow order. When you think positive about yourself, when you love yourself, you actually signalize your own body that everything is okay, that you are loved, you know? The soul loves the body and the body loves the soul, and together there's a connection, a unity, because you are in harmony, because you're harmonizing together. You are not in disease, okay? Like I said in my videos, because someone like that who all the time is ill, who all the time has something to suffer from, depression, anxiety, worries, is in disharmony. The body and the soul don't work together. That's why they sooner or later get a disease. Yeah, it manifests in the outside world, in the physical, as a disease. That all the time there was no unity. And if you ask a lot of people who have depression, do you love yourself? They will say no. It will be a straight no. A powerful one, actually. That's bad, but they will straight, powerfully say no. No. While if you ask me, do I love myself?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I actually implied it. I see myself as a king who tries to help the people to actually be even more than me, because that's the true power of a king. Don't think bad about yourself. Only think positive, regardless in what situation you might be in right now, you know? You can just start by saying, I love myself. When you go to bed, 5 minutes before you turn off the lights, I love myself. Good night. And that good night is meant, for example, to all the people on the planet. Have a good night. Even if they're awake, when they go to bed, it will be a good night. That's it. Even if you don't mean it in the beginning, you know, that you like yourself, that you love yourself, that you're proud of yourself. You don't mean it. You just say, I love myself because this guy on the internet said it. Say it before sleep. Say it when you wake up. For new behavior to manifest itself, it could take up to 90 days. Could take for some people probably a year or two. Even if they don't mean it, saying it, I love myself. But they have to say it each day. Each single time. And if they have too much weight on them, start to do sport, start to drink more water. You know, you don't have to do a radical change. Just start to drink water, start to drink more tea. Leave the sugar a little bit away, not all, just a little bit. Slow. It is slow. It's a slow process, yeah? It's a process that can take up 3 years. Take it slow. It should be a natural change. It should, in the end, feel natural to love yourself, to be proud of yourself, to know that you can accomplish everything. Yeah? It should be a natural state. This is not a race that you have to fulfill quickly because, I don't know what your environment might be thinking, you know? This is for you. You do it for yourself, not for someone else. You just think about yourself in the beginning. If you are strong, you're not shaken by the outside world. If you are strong, you can, actually put out the hand, you know, and get people up. But if you're weak, the moment you stretch out your hand to help, you have no strength in your legs, and the people will just, you know, they will just push you down to them. And where's a strong person then, you know? You're completely consumed by the people. So this is more a little bit of a very open talk. I have nothing prepared. I just sit for the camera and just talk. Usually I have something prepared a little bit there and watch up of, but for now, nothing. Yeah, and well, I hope you liked it. And as always, have the courage to be yourself.